decided to work on find the boxes gen again. Just basically, I was working. Well, I mean, this is all finished more or less. So I thought it was finished, and I have this idea a few months ago of adding like zero grav, which I've called random mode, but it doesn't really make much sense. Makes more sense to call it zero grav mode basically at the minute. But this is where I was up to with it. Though it does seem to like I've basically added a video intended. There, that's better. That's what was supposed to happen. It's a sphere geometry which is basically set to a specific radius, but then all this black space out here is infinite, basically. I guess it probably would be infinite. It'd just keep on going and going and going. It's like empty space. Another thing I'm having to deal with is obviously, you can probably tell, after that initial explosive reaction, the shapes are very, very, very widely spread now. And they move quite fast. So I probably even have to make... Oh, wow, that's actually a good idea. If I can make the... this might be a pretty cool idea, because it actually expands quite rapidly, right? What if I made the speed of the ship like something like 300? That's quite... I was using the physics system, I think, for this. AFrame. Like I said, this is from a while ago actually, so just start. The loading needs to be a little faster, probably. Like it takes a little bit of time. Okay. Whoa. Okay. This is okay. That's pretty cool actually. But I guess the problem with this is like, I could probably make this generative. So basically, the some of the I don't know, like the spread or the speed the exploding boxes is based on. This is one where you could change it probably. Is based on the time and then somehow calculate the speed, which would really add an interesting amount of randomness actually. It'll be a bit more generative then as well, I suppose. Obviously, a lot of this needs like the skybox stuff. So, two things I'm going to try and hack out if I can. I'm only going to do this like in 2 hours or so. I've got Saturday tomorrow, but also I'm going to do some work tomorrow morning probably as well. So yeah, I just need to do this work on this little side projects and then get back to the stuff that pays. But it's gonna be pretty cool anyway. Anyway, what was I saying? I need to basically make an infinite skybox, or at least it'll be basically just a illusion essentially. So that maybe something like every, I don't know, 200 meters, 200 miles, whatever, like it just basically. So basically, the less we have to render, the better for that, basically. So wherever the player is looking, it's generating graphics for the space, the texture, for the video texture plane on the surface or whatever. You might use the JPEG, but more better, but. And you get this weird wallpaper effect, just basically, it just looks quite cool actually if you look at it like that, just on its own. But So yeah, as a whole, it looks sort of weird when you fly towards it, I guess. Whoop. Yeah, see all this warping stuff. Anyway, let's get into the code, as it were. Sound will turn off for it, probably. Okay, where to begin? So, let's open up the JavaScript for this. There'll probably be many things now that I see here that are funny. Obviously, I got to get acquainted with it again because though I am pretty familiar with this code. Like I sort of immediately know how everything works just by glancing at it. And the one thing that's very bad about this, the main mistake there in terms of as it is there's a separate JavaScript file for every single mode. So there's a lot of duplication, which I know how to avoid now, but it's by the by. All the rest of it's just fairly typical functions that create shapes, basically, and some game state stuff. I was going to look at. I need to think. Let's look at the Skybox implementation. Current is just with the. I was doing it with the yeah. So that's the asset there. Space. The video space BG is a reference to where the videos stored in what directory you're in, so we can see them on there. And we've got a video sphere, sorry, which is yeah. Well, maybe I could just set it to an obscenely large number. I don't know. That might not work. That might well not work. But also if it does, that would be quite interesting. See. But I don't know if it will. I'll just. This probably is completely stupid, but I just want to see if it works. Alright, it's probably not gonna. But I'll try anyway. My computer might blow up. I don't know. Well, the text is not loading off the shit there. But sometimes it seems to not be doing that. I guess it's because. Try again. Nah, it's probably just too big. I mean, that's just ridiculous. No, so that works. But I'm already out of it, like straight away. What are the maxes you can set it to? Set it to. I feel literally doing it. 999 was just ridiculous before. But probably if there's probably actually a value I can set it to where I cannot reach it. But okay, so it needs to be something like something large, but I don't know how large basically. Let's try that. No, that's not loading now. Oh, no, it's not loading. Well, the collision's loading with the actual videos, and so that's too big. Maybe that's what million, isn't it? Probably way too big. Try 50,000. No, too big. Probably 10,000 is going to be the most. I imagine. Biggest thing would be. Okay, that's big, but look. Again, I also have to take in consideration where. Okay, so that's only if that would only really work if the player was a bit slower, basically. And this stuff, the accelerations of the shapes expanding outwards are still. What if I slowed this down to like 50? Because I guess you got to bear in mind some of this is relative. Like it will appear, the bigger area based on the speed of the relative speed of the player to the object and the skybox. See, look, it almost already seems bigger, basically. See, that gives you a proper sense of the scale. It's still going through there, so obviously the acceleration of the shapes is still well too much. So I need to remember actually how I'm applying that force. Or well, it's in zero Grav, but I can't remember how I was doing it, so I have to check that. That's probably when I create them, right? I think. To sort of texture stuff. Yeah. I think I'll probably add another value here, which is the mass or something like that, but I will have to look into physics on AFrame. I've not looked at AFrame actually for a while, so I have to refer to the documentation again. But I should be able to add something like mass, which might change. Yeah, it's actually the library, isn't it? It's basically with AFrame to get physics, you need to use their physics library, which is what I'm using. Let's go to the official AFrame page. Where is it? Oh, not AFrame. There we go. Let's go to official docs. Now, probably I'm just guessing that this will just be like, just literally a value. I'll try it actually, before I just spend ages looking into documentation, which might not even be correct. I'll just add like mass 5. I don't know, it'd be a lot more than 5, but it should be, but let's see if that has any effect. It probably won't. Doesn't really seem to, be honest. Doesn't make a difference. Right. Let's do that. Just double check. I'm sure I'm using the general physics system for AFrame. Yeah, AFrame physics system. I'll just look at that. Just a bit hidden away. Oh, piss it off. Big pardon. There we go. Yeah, so you can see. Maybe if I had massive Oh, the default's 5 actually, so it's no different. But massive. Make it heavier, which will make it slower. Should do. I think. Is that right? I'm not like I've got like a sort of general understanding of physics, but I'm no physicist. I've just read some issue kind of through there. Make it like, well, it's quite big. I mean, it's like asteroid-sized object, so we call it 200. I might add some linear and other thing, oh, so doesn't make much difference because these are win boxes, I think. These ones. Oh, I need that now a little bit, so okay. Try the linear opening, because that'll be. I think without a maximum value, you can have it out. Also needs to be. I don't know if that makes a difference. Let's see if it's string or. I'll just guess it's string. So yeah, so 0.5. Try that. That does seem a bit slow, which is good. No, I didn't need that. I think probably to think of an alternative to the skybox. I wonder if I could basically have a skybox and just put the solution actually. I don't know if it could work though. If I had a skybox that was attached to the player, then it could basically just be an orb that was around the player like this, the same, not the same size as this, but something. But it could. Oh, but then it would work because the cubes could still go outside of it. Basically, what needs to happen is however much time there is, it needs to generate some sort of sky cube or some sort of texture around that would be big enough so that it wouldn't be possible for the player to get outside of the. Or I can just apply like a generic texture with no animation. Or play a GIF. That would be another way. That might be an easier way around actually. Instead of streaming a video, if it's possible actually, I'm looking into that. I could basically just have a GIF as a texture in AFrame on the div element, but I'm not even sure if it's possible. I've not used a GIF for it. Probably is. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Ah. Well, that's a component for it, maybe. Oh, okay. We need to have packages for it as well. Okay. That might be an option. I think could work though. I guess that would be a pretty interesting solution. Let's put a CDN for this, I guess. I could just. No. It's a shader though, it's for 3D. Look at this. Right. I can make a massive primitive of this, but then I don't know, because I think it won't, I don't know, it won't be like double sided there. So I don't know if that'll work. So we're going to do that. maybe forget it for now. Let's just find a decent space better on, because that would instantly solve the problem. I mean, unless I could do something like, I don't know, apply, like I'm thinking maybe applying some sort of, well, I don't know, it's quite a difficult one, really. I mean, the easy solution for now to looking at something better is just get a, not that this is all stylized Hubble telescope or whatever, because it'll probably be free to use, like something like this, or I don't know, it's too, needs to be less detailed than that, because it basically needs to, see, that's too, like if you're actually in space, it's not, like, that's a hyper enhanced image, it's very, it needs to be more spread, like this here, something like that probably work. It's a bit stylized, but not so much as the other ones, especially. I should be able to download it as well, I think, I don't think it's a problem. I'll crop it together. Oh, sure, it's okay. I think it's just free, so it should be right. I'll better check out something. Just quickly crop this. That's not cropped. Okay. And then it doesn't need to be, just needs to be general skybox. I need to find where that is. Oh, I need to commit my. Look, this will be the first time I commit onto PC though, so it might not work. But I need to commit my work probably soon. So we've done a bit of changes and stuff. Wait, put space on. I need to. This needs actual structure as well. It's stupid. Like I might do that next as well. The directory structure. Well, there isn't any directory structure. This is really not good. So I need to mod that. So what happens? It's so easy for that to happen though with these side projects though, because you got work on, and it just gets more harder actually to be honest. To really find time to do a lot of these projects sometimes. So you just have to cut corners. But that, it's probably alright because it's this is like. I'm not doing this for money really, I'm doing this to learn and also just like having new ideas about interesting programmatic, just learning more about programming basically, right? I'll probably start this in a bit, I might do the second part, just learning, so like a lot of my channel now is probably going to be just chatting and programming basically. I don't know, like finding the time to be honest for doing tutorials. It's very hard to find the time because I'm very busy. Like I've got working, basically 2 jobs. I'm working for an AI company and also doing some community management for a game. Occupy White Walls actually, check it out. Uncontrolled.art, very good, interesting art game. They're not paying me for saying that, but I do basically do community management for them. I used to work for them as a dev for a long time, but front end doing the web stuff, web work. Okay, I don't think I need a radius, it's got a skybox. I should just now apply that texture. It probably won't work because I'll have missed something stupid. That's what usually happens. Yeah, so that's probably just okay. Oh, I think it's crudely good. I think it's yeah. Try it. The whole file is actually. Well, this is very boring. I don't know if you want to watch this anymore. It's only been 25 minutes, I suppose. Too bad. Is that JPEG? Yeah, it's a JPEG. Ah, no. That should be fine. I don't know why it's not working. That's something where I've probably just been ages since these AFrame anyway. I forgot to use the skybox properly. I should know this. This is like not knowing how to do some basic tags and HTML the equivalent of, but like I said, it's been ages since I used AFrame. So. Very tired. Very tired, very tired. It's been a long week. The weather in the UK has been horrendous. Like, so bad, so annoying. So let's get some rest, I think. I'll leave it at that. I don't know if I'm gonna. So, yes, no one heard. No, I'm not one word. This is, me just doing some recording of work, basically. Like and subscribe if you like programming, interested in programming, games dev and JavaScript, web programming, WebXR, yada yada yada. That's that one. Now I'm going to bed.